Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. My name is Leanne F and this is my channel, DIY Beauty on Purpose. For this DIY, we are going to start with this awesome Pepsi old wooden box I got off of Facebook Marketplace. It was $10. Normally, I would not pay this much, but I just had to have it. It has so much character. It's very vintage, and this whole DIY is going to be pretty much keeping it very authentic to its current state. I cleaned up the inside using my vacuum, and then I sanded it down just a little bit using a 220 grit sandpaper and my electric sander. This is just to soften any splinters, anything that may be on the surface. And then I cleaned it off and dusted off. I am going to measure the inside because I want to cover it. The worst part of the box is the bottom portion, the inside of the box as well as the actual bottom of the box. I'm going to take these two Dollar Tree pieces. They are from their summer collection, and I'm just going to draw lines after I measured where I needed to. I'm going to use my blade knife, score it, and then I'm just going to snap it until it comes off. Then I'm going to cut off any excess to make sure everything is nice and smooth. This is going to fit perfectly inside the box. Now both pieces are going to be cut the same size. Then I'm going to place them in. Now they're going to overlap each other. I'm okay with that. I thought about securing them using brad nails. That's the first thing that I thought about. I brad nailed a couple of them and it just did not work. They were coming off. They were just not secure. Then I grabbed a couple of screws and that did the work. I screwed them in the middle as well as on each end. I am now going to measure the bottom once again because as you can tell, it's in really bad shape, but I don't want to mess with it. So I took this piece of old scrap wood that I had on hand and I cut two pieces to fit both sides. Essentially, we are just giving them legs. And then we are just going to pre-drill a couple of holes on each end of the piece of wood. This is going to allow me to screw in the pieces without the wood cracking on me. I am now going to take a couple of these felt pads. I'm just going to cut them to fit the bottom. We're going to put one on each side of the boards we just screwed in. This is going to allow it not to scratch any surface where the box will be laid. Now again, I wanted to keep this box as authentic as possible. I completely forgot to stain the legs before I placed them. So I'm trying to do it now using Waverly Antiquing Wax to make sure that it blends in a little bit closer to the color and stain of the wood box. That way it just looks like it's been part of it. And I think I did a really good job, but let me know what you think. I love this box. I have it on my porch right now, but it could be used indoors as well. I love it. If you enjoy DIY home decor, this is the channel for you. I post every single week, so make sure that you are subscribed and that you hit that notification bell so you do not miss any of the content. For the next DIY, I'm going to take these 3 jars. They are vases, glass vases that I thrifted a while back. I'm going to wipe them off really well. I've had them for a while, so they're kind of dusty. Then I'm going to measure what the width of them are when they're about 2 inches apart and how tall they are. This is because we're going to take that same piece of scrap wood I had earlier, and I'm going to cut 2 pieces to fit both sideways, one on the bottom and one on top. Now I'm going to measure to make sure that I cut 2 pieces for the sides, and I want to make sure that I leave about 1 inch from the top of each vase to the bottom of the top board. After I measured where the center would be, I am going to drill 3 holes using a spade blade that fits about the same size opening as the vases. And then I took some wood filler to make sure that everything is filled in nicely and it's going to look nice and professional. I filled it in, let them dry, and then I sanded them down smoothly. I'm going to attach everything to create a box that's going to go around the vases using wood glue and brad nails. I'm going to do this until I have the frame that go around the vases. After everything was put together, I just sanded it down just a bit to smooth things out, make sure that everything is ready for some paint. I dusted it really well, and I'm going to add 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white, and I'm going to do the inside as well as the outside of the box. And now it's time to put everything together. I'm going to place one vase underneath each hole, and then I'm going to place some Dollar Tree florals, and I think this turned out absolutely beautiful. I love that I can use this season after season and just switching out the florals. It's a perfect combination of chicness and practicality. I love it.
If you are enjoying this video so far, make sure you take a second and give me a thumbs up. A thumbs up really helps my channel grow, and it helps this video reach more people.
For the next DIY, I'm going to take this piece of scrap wood. It doesn't look like a scrap wood, but it is. I found it in the scrap wood area at the hardware store at my Home Depot. They actually spray it purple when it's considered a scrap piece of wood, and that's where I got it from. I cut this one to 15.5 inches long, and the wood itself is 11.5 inches wide. I sanded everything down using my palm sander to make sure that everything is smooth, dusted it, and wiped it really well. And now I'm going to give everything one pretty heavy coat of Waverly chalk paint in the moss color. Friends, don't forget that you can visit my Amazon store, which is linked in the description box down below. I add my Amazon favorites all the time. They're all in one place, and you can also follow me there, so anytime I add new items, you can be notified that I added them. Again, it is linked down below. While the paint dries, I want to tell you about this find on Amazon. Is these little pieces of chess. I absolutely love them. They're not expensive at all. They come in this cute little carrying bag, and they're actually made out of wood. I saw them because what we're creating with this DIY is a chessboard. So I thought I need some pieces, so found these on Amazon. I'm also going to use these knobs that I took off of a dresser quite a while ago, and I kept them. I wanted to kind of darken them up just a bit to match the pieces of chess a little bit better. I was not successful, so I just left them as is. Then this is the part that took me so long. I was trying to create the chessboard, so of course it has 8 rows in the shape of a square with a plaid look. I tried using the method of using painter's tape and then crisscrossing them. That didn't work. Then I tried using this Cricut cutting mat that I have, try to measure a square. Then I moved on to my square ruler to see if that would be better, and that did the work. Basically, I just made a 10-inch square right in the center of the board, and then I found the middle, made a line, and then I found the middle of each section and made a line until I had 8 rows going vertically and 8 rows going horizontally. I have no clue where the footage went, where I actually taped it originally, but as you can see, I taped every other row going horizontally and going vertically using masking tape from Dollar Tree. And then I gave each square that was exposed one coat of Waverly chalk paint in the ink. I let that dry, and now I am using masking tape once again to cover up where I already painted these squares, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give each exposed square one coat of Waverly chalk paint in the ink. To finish things off, I am going to take a permanent marker and I'm just going to trace the actual square. This is going to give it a finished look, and then we can see perfectly the chessboard that I absolutely am obsessed with. I thought I was going to sell this one, but I'm actually going to keep it so that I can learn how to play, because I don't think I've played in such a long time, but I love the way this one turned out. All right, moving along, I'm going to clean it up just a little bit. There's a little bit of bleed through here and there, as well as some pencil marks, because of course trying to figure out this chessboard took me forever, and I just cleaned it up using the same green tone. I am going to seal everything using polyurethane in the crystal clear. This is by Varathane. I'm being very careful, making sure that I'm not over brushing over the black squares because it will soften the paint and it will smear. So just one coat was fine, but I actually did 2 of them. It dried in just an hour. I am going to drill a couple of holes, and then I'm going to put in these 2 screws that I found in my stash. The drill bit that I have actually matches the width. It's actually a little bigger than these screws, and this is going to make sure that the screws fits in nicely. I'm going to put some painter's tape to help me prevent some splinters and cracking around the hole, and it worked. I did get a little cracking, but you don't see it. I did the same thing on the other side. I screwed in the screws and then placed the knob by just screwing it from the other side, and that worked really, really well. And then of course we want to add something to the bottom, and same as this one, we're going to place some felt pads. These are the larger circle ones. I do cut them in half when I don't have any of the smaller circles, and I'm just going to place 1 in each corner, making sure that the flat side matches the flat edges. That way it looks clean and professional. I did that on all 4 sides, and now this board is ready to be played with, and I cannot believe how cute it turned out. I absolutely love it. It's not necessarily my colors, but I think it works really well, and those knobs just look so vintage. I love it. Friends, I want to tell you about my friend Lacee from Lacee's Space. She has a YouTube channel with tons of DIY inspiration. If you do not know who she is, today's video is in collaboration with her. She's also going to bring you some easy wood DIYs that I know you're going to love. She's very detailed and she loves what she does, and I just love her. Check her out. I have the link to her channel down below, so check her out. For this next DIY, I'm going to take this piece of wood that I actually had left over from this DIY that I did recently. It was a round wood shelf, and it had chicken wire in the back, and it had this shelf in it, and I just didn't want to use it for the particular DIY I was using, but I kept it because it was so unique, and it was actually really hard wood. So I kept it. I'm going to sand it down just a little bit using a 220 grit sandpaper. That way it's softened. I'm going to dust it and wipe it very, very well, and I'm going to leave it as is. I love the natural wood tone. I'm going to take this Dollar Tree nautical robe. It's from their new collection in the summer section, and I'm going to fold it in half, and then I am going to tape both ends at the loop. That way when I cut it, it's not going to fray on me because I am going to knot them. So I want to make sure that they don't fray until they are knotted. So a little tape on each side would work, and then I cut right in the center. Once I had it cut, it was time to place them 1 on each side. This is going to be a little beachy, nautical kind of hanging shelf, and not needing any power tools whatsoever. I am going to loop it, as you can see, and then just knot it. I'm going to do the same thing for the other one and then remove the tape. Keeping in the no power tools for this DIY, all you want to do is take some thumbtacks that you can find at Dollar Tree. I measured the shelf and made sure that I had about 2 inches on each side, and then I placed the thumbtacks where I wanted them. I used the line on my wall as my guide, but you can always use a level to make sure you are leveled. I'm going to place the thumbtack right in between the knot, making sure that it's secure as I pull down. Then I'm going to place the shelf right inside and then tilt it until it's flat. I'm going to decorate it using some cute summer decor, and I think it turned out so adorable. Such an easy way. Now this is for decorative purposes. Make sure you do not put anything heavy. If you are, make sure you do use screws and that it's placed on studs. But it's so stinking cute. I love that I was able to reuse this from an old DIY, and how cute is this with no power tools? You are going to have to let me know which one is your favorite. I think for me is the box. I know it's old, and really I kept it just as it, just add a little bit more to it. I just love the way it turned out. But let me know what you think. Also, don't forget to visit my friend Lacee. Check her out. She is linked below. And if you're visiting from her channel, or if you're visiting for the first time, welcome. I hope you consider joining our YouTube family. And if you are returning, saying thank you so much for coming back. I have another video here that I know you're going to love, so make sure you click on it. There's tons of inspiration. There's also a playlist. Check them out. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.